In the West Country, snails were considered creatures of power. If you should chance to meet one upon your path, you were meant to greet it and leave it an offering. Sadly, most people view them as nothing more than pests, but they are fascinating creatures whose sexual lives reveal the true diversity and queerness of nature. And within folkloric witchcraft, they are regarded as sacred and powerful creatures of the hearth and home. Within folk magic, the shells of snails were gathered and strung into charms for protection, fertility, and good fortune. Cecil Williamson, the founder of the Museum of Witchcraft in Cornwall, recorded a charm of the sexy snail, which was given to shy young maidens so that unspoken feelings might finally be understood. Certain love divinations were also practiced with snails, where they were kept covered on a dish on Halloween night, and their trails would reveal a lover's initials. In medieval times, snails were associated with laziness due to their slow movement. But I have come to think of them as potent symbols for those of us with chronic illness and autoimmune disease, where rest and cycles of slowness are important for us to function. This was further deepened for me after reading The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating by Elizabeth Tova Bailey. I often come upon snails in my garden, where I find them eating my henbane and datura, sometimes decimating entire pots of seedlings. Still, I cannot blame them for their love of these poisonous plants. I love them too. Once, while I tried to move one gently to another, more robust plant, it foamed at me, which is a common defense mechanism for these little creatures. When I was still living in my old cottage, whenever it would rain, there would be droves of snails clambering and feasting on my plants. I used to put coverings on all of my seedlings in the evening and take them off during the morning, ensuring to move the dozens of snails to the bottom of the garden. While picking snails in the garden, I would occasionally come by an empty shell, which I gathered in a jar to use for a snail charm. This is how I came about the shells for the charm I am sharing here. No snails were harmed during the making of this. While creating the charm itself, I worked in a similar way to traditional knot magic, where each snail shell became a knot, each one an addition to the cord. I poked holes through each shell with a thin needle and pushed them through the red thread, while saying the following chant: For growth which is slow but powerful, for the power of hidden things, for the life that gathers and quietly endures, for the protection of my home and those within it, for the old luck that lingers in humble things, for what is carried quietly and guarded well, for the quiet paths that lead me where I am meant to be. The charm may then be anointed with a special oil blended for the purpose of your working, and hung within the home near a doorway or above the bed, depending on its purpose. In this way, something so often overlooked becomes a keeper of quiet power. The snail asks little of us, only patience, gentleness, and the willingness to notice what moves slowly through the world. Its shell, once a home, becomes a vessel for magic. Its path, though soft and easily lost, is never without direction. May this charm remind you that protection, growth, and power can come from the little things. And perhaps the next time you meet a snail upon your path, you will greet it as kin.